So today I'm going to go over the CMS proposed rule. I already went over it once before, so I'm going to give a very brief summary of it. What I'm going to focus on more is how to send a comment in. I've had a lot of people ask me how they send in a comment, and if they do send in a comment, what they should say. And I'm not going to tell you exactly what to say, but I'll give you some guidelines and some suggestions. But really, a lot of it has to be based on your own personal experience. But regardless, whatever you want to say in that comment, I'm going to talk today about how you would send it in. So get right to it. The agenda, we'll do a quick review of the CMS proposed rule. It's called CMS-4205-P. I'll talk about the changes it's going to make to commissions, overrides, HRA fees, all the details and how it impacts agents and agencies. I'll talk about how you access the proposal online. It's not quite as straightforward as you would think, and how you would submit a comment. And then lastly, I'll just mention NABIP. It's become very obvious and apparent how important they are to us as agents, as independent agents. So I'll just talk about them for a little bit. Okay, so the proposed rule, we'll go over that. It was proposed in early November. It is in proposal form right now. They're going to take comments on that proposal until January 5th. And then what they do is they will finalize it at the end of February or in early March. So they propose it, they'll take comments. If they're going to make any changes to that proposed form in the final version, they will do so. And then the final version will be in and announced sometime at the end of February, we think early March. So if whatever version it looks like, that'll be effective for January 1st, 2025. But really it'll kick in October 1st because of AEP. So let's go over the changes. The first change is the commission change. So it's proposing the commissions be changed to one level for all states. And it's proposing the national bracket. So that's the 611 and the 306. They also talked about adding an admin fee, and initially I incorrectly thought they meant adding an additional $31 to the commission, new and renewal, but that isn't what they meant. There's further clarification there that it's a one-time $31 per sale admin fee, so not in addition to the commission, just a one-time fee to make up for the loss of some of the other things I'm going to talk about, which I think most would agree it doesn't make up for it. But anyway, that's the concept. Oh, one more thing on the commission I should mention. Obviously, the 611 and 306, that's a national amount, except for some states. So you have a couple buckets of states that are higher commission. States like Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and DC, they're at a higher commission rate. So this proposal would have those commissions, new and existing renewals, come down to the national rate. And then your two states that are the highest commission, California and New Jersey, obviously would come down to this level as well. So it would change the commissions, and next changes it would make is it would eliminate HRA fees. It's very clear in the language. They no longer want HRA fees to be paid. If you're an agent that never does the HRAs, it's not a big deal. There certainly are a lot of agents out there, though, that do an HRA on pretty much every case they submit. There would no longer be a fee to complete the HRA. Next, it looks to eliminate expense reimbursements for leads or marketing. That wouldn't be allowed at all at any level. So any kind of lead reimbursement from the carrier, from the upline, reimbursements towards lead costs, seminar costs, any other marketing expense wouldn't be allowed. Even things like discounts on AHIP, any type of money that's being paid above regular commission, whether it's direct to the agent or to reduce cost on something, would no longer be allowed at any level. Lastly, in the proposal, it talks about eliminating overrides and admin fees. It says that they wouldn't be allowed at any level. So essentially, if they removed override and admin fees, and I use both terms, we call them overrides, but anything above street, basically, GA, MGA, SGA, FMO, NMO, if they got rid of those, it would shut down more or less all direct pay agencies. So any agencies above street would really, if they're not an LOA, it would more or less put them out of business, all the way up to NMO organizations. And when I say direct pay agency, that means that's an agency that is that the agents get paid direct by the carrier in the full commission. So it's not an LOA, it's not a reduced comp. LOAs would still be okay, and individual agents will be okay too. But the organizations like mine, for example, I guess I'm a good example. that rely on overrides where their agents are getting paid direct and the full commission, it would essentially eliminate our revenue. So with that would go any support that is offered, and it just depends on what you get out of your upline. So enrollment platforms such as Connector and Sunfire, those are paid for by the uplines. They're substantially, they have a substantial expense. Those would go away because there wouldn't be the uplines there any longer to pay for them. And then the other parts of those, if you didn't have access to Connector and Sunfire, compliance things such as the recordings would also go away. Any reimbursements towards leads and marketing, probably the biggest one that people aren't talking about enough is contracting. Right now, a large majority of agents' contracts, agents and agencies are done by uplines. And if that went away, then the carriers would have to do that. And I don't think I'm going out on a limb to say that the carriers really are, I don't think they're staffed at this point to handle that. We would see what they do. They would probably staff up, I would assume. And then lastly would be guidance and support on compliance. I think this is a big one too. Obviously, it's hard to keep up with CMS's rule changes for compliance with recordings, the 48-hour scope rule. And I know as an upline, we do try to provide a lot of guidance there on how to not get in trouble, how to stay compliant with the ever-changing rules, and that wouldn't be available any longer. So how do you send comments in? Well, you can send comments specific to this proposed rule to CMS Online until January 5th. First of all, if you want to see the proposal, you can also comment there. You would go to regulations.gov. So regulations.gov is the government website that holds the proposal, holds the link to the comments as well. When you go to regulations.gov, this proposal won't come up on the popular proposals. Maybe it does now, I haven't checked in a couple days. But what you do is there's a search bar, and in that search bar, type in CMS-4205-P. That's this proposal's code, CMS-4205-P. Put the hyphens in, because if you don't put in the hyphens in, it doesn't come up sometimes. So put that in the search bar, and you can search the document. The entire 480-page document will come up, and you can look at it, and there's a comment when it comes up 3 times. Look at the middle one. It's like a hyperlink to the whole proposal if you want to look at it. So if you look at the middle one, there's a comment button in there right on the comments, and right on the proposal, and you can click that and submit a comment. When we talk about this proposal is big and it changes a lot of things. I'm talking specifically about agent compensation and upline compensation. The specifics on that, instead of reading the 486 pages, are on pages 6 and then 236 through 248. It provides specifics on these changes I'm talking about. Another way to see more details on this is to go to Pinnacle's website, pfsinsurance.com. You can see a lot more details on commenting to CMS, and another nice thing on their site, and it has a lot of information. On their site there's a link to contact senators and local state reps. So you could send comments to them as well. So what I'll do now is give you suggestions on comments. I'm not going to tell you what to do because this impacts people differently depending on a lot of criteria. How much support you're getting from an upline, do you do a lot of HRAs, were you getting marketing money, how much do you use Connector and Sunfire? So this means different things to different agents. So I'm just going to simply give you suggestions, but you comment how you feel fit. So when you submit a comment to CMS, if you feel losing the services from your upline, if you feel the other things that are going to go away will impact you, here are some suggestions. It's my belief that CMS doesn't really know the difference. This is my thoughts. CMS really doesn't know the difference between us as an independent agents and agencies. They don't know the difference between us and a telesales organization, or a rep that's direct with the carrier selling, a rep that can only sell the carrier for the company they work for, or a telesales agency that's just selling Medicare Advantage. They're not looking at the difference between Advantage and supplements. In my opinion, they feel we operate all in the same manner. They think we're all the same thing. They feel that we sell the company that has the biggest override, highest HRA fee, and then we just sell it to the client and move on. And as we all know, that's not the case. Most independent agents call or contact their clients during the AAP to talk to them about plan changes if they want to make any. We look at the difference between Advantage and supplement and go over that with them. We'll run their drugs on Connector or Sunfire or some other site, whatever you may be using, to see which drug plan or Advantage plan is the lowest cost. We check doctors and drugs, doctor networks for them, reevaluate plans during AEP. Independent agents are very different than a carrier rep or a telesales organization. Telesales rarely will ever contact a client again. The only way they will is if they disenroll. Obviously it's a completely different scenario with us, but in my opinion, CMS really just doesn't understand that. They think we're all exactly the same, which is, really far from the truth. So as I mentioned, if you feel that these changes will impact your ability to service your client at the same level, it'd be important to put that in the proposal. So when you make a proposal, a couple tips I will give you is, first of all, remember, this is public record. So be professional, be constructive with your comments. Some of the things I talked about previously, if you want to lay that out and explain the difference between you as an independent agent and a telesales organization, and explain how, if you do rely on your upline, how losing your upline will make it much more difficult to service your client, do that. This is the place and the time to do it. You only have until January 5th. And then lastly, I said, CMS, I think the feeling is that if they're allowing commissions with the additional $31 added, it will allow you as an agent to conduct business like normal. I don't think they're taking into consideration how hard it is to be aware of all the marketing rules, how difficult it'll be to contract, the fact that on an individual basis, it's not possible, not feasible financially to have Connecture or Sunfire. I just really don't think they understand those things. And again, I don't think they understand the difference between an independent agent and how rounded we are in the services we offer compared to the other organizations, as I mentioned before. So that's it. That's just to go back for 1 second. So if you submit the comment, be constructive with it. It is public record, so keep that in mind. So really, stay professional with it. Some people are having clients submit comments as well if the agent feels it's going to impact the service they provide to the client. They're also having clients submit, or you could get testimonials from clients and submit those. And that's all I had. Just wanted to wrap up quick with NAHU. NAHU is now called NABIP, N-A-B-I-P, nabip.org. What I've learned from this whole thing is I took them for granted. I mean, geez, I even had to look and, once I saw the importance of NABIP in this, because I quickly realized they're the only ones that advocate for us on Capitol Hill. They're really the only ones who, with CMS, advocate for us. And they do that. They advocate, they have made it really clear how we're different as an independent agent. They've made it clear on how the whole system works, how uplines can support agents, and just again, how an independent agent is different. And when it comes to advocating for us as agents, they're really the only ones out there as a professional organization that's doing that. And again, where I took them for granted is once I kind of realized that, I had to quick check and see if I was still a NABIP member. So I don't take them for granted now. I know John Green at NABIP has been talking to everybody. He's sending opinions, again, really trying to educate and make people on the Hill and CMS aware of the impact this will have. So if you're not a NABIP member, I suggest you become one. I think we really should support them since they're one of the fewer organizations that's supporting us. That's all I had today. Thank you. Appreciate you coming on, and we'll see what happens. Again, till January, you can put comments until January 5th, and then once that thing goes final, we'll see what we have, I guess. All right, thanks.